Buenos dias, amigos, from
Ciudad Juarez.
That is right. We are in the great state of Chihuahua. It is nice and chilly here in Juarez.
Chilly.
Okay, that was terrible. Today's video will be a little bit different. We are actually venturing into we're venturing into the most northern Mexican state of Texas. More about that later. But today's video will be different because we want to document the process of crossing the border on foot from Juarez to El Paso, Texas. Yep. So we just flew into Juarez because it was significantly cheaper than flying to El Paso. Pro tip. We called an Uber. Now we're taking an Uber to the frontera, to the border. Yep. And I really don't know what to expect.
We don't know what's going to happen.
So you will be learning with us.
Before we go any further in today's pretty big adventure, we'll call it an adventure. We'd like to thank our patrons of the day with the two coolest, easiest names to remember, Gary Green and Jimmy Jams. Thank you both, Gary and Jimmy, and all of our other patrons for supporting our work in Mexico.
All right, let's see if we can.
Let's do this.
Okay, we have made it to the bridge, or I think we're close to the bridge, and we're gonna see if we can get situated around here. An interesting thing about being in a border town is that there's businesses that exist here in Mexico that don't exist there. Like, and I say there as in the United States, like there's no Oxxos in the United States, probably no Sorianas, but just across the river, there are. Okay, there's like a little kiosk, I don't know, what turnstiles. You pay 4 pesos to get through, to get onto the bridge. I didn't expect that. That was interesting.
You better have correct change.
And you need to have change, because I had a 20 peso bill, billete, and I had to get change. It's a little windy. Let's see if we can get some B-roll. Before we cross this bridge, I do want to say, I want to get on my soapbox here if it's not too windy, that it is, I guess I recognize the privilege that we have to be able to freely cross into the United States, freely cross borders based nothing more than where we were born. There's nothing we have done in life to be able to achieve this right.
Like people were born just across the river, and many of them don't have that freedom.
There's people with family in Texas that can't visit their family like we're doing simply because they were born in Mexico. Yeah. And like all we needed to do was apply for a passport, and like just like that got it. And Mexicans can't do that, and that's a strange thing that I just don't. It's hard to come to grasp with, and it's like, I guess I just want to say before we cross that we know and recognize this is an extreme privilege, and just the whole time we're driving over here, just thinking about people that can't get to the U.S. that need to or want to for whatever reason, and I don't know, interesting. I don't know. It's just
it is interesting.
Do you think they sell mazapan on the other side of the bridge?
I don't know, but it's uphill. Both ways.
We have crossed.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's just that line that's literally the border, right, I guess, right over the river, I'm assuming. Yeah. The Rio Bravo or Rio Grande. depending on where you live.
Rio Grande.
And all he did was just like basically show them that we had passports, and I saw the Mexican nationals walking across showing them some type of identification. I'm assuming we're gonna get over here and go through some type of process, or at least have something scanned, but honestly I don't really know. Another interesting thing, I thought there would be like tons of cars just because it's 9 in the morning, 8:30, 9, 10 in the morning. I thought there'd be a lot of traffic, but
It's 20.
It's pretty tranquilo.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Feels warmer here in Texas, doesn't it?
It does. It smells like breakfast burritos.
Okay, well I apologize because that was extremely anticlimactic. We just didn't know. Look, all we're doing is trying to document what the process is like. I think
it was really not too big of a deal.
It was not too big of a deal so far. It's pretty easy to fly into Juarez and just take an Uber and cross the border, except for a little bit of traffic there by the airport. But the interesting thing is like our visa. So when we went to Mexico in January, we got a visa, but then now that visa doesn't show that we've ever left Mexico. Like, I don't know if we messed that up. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
Because, and this is crazy, you just cross the border and it's like you're in downtown El Paso. You were like right in the heart of like small town, well, El Paso's not small town.
It feels like it.
It feels like small town Texas already. It's crazy just how it's there's two different worlds just on the other side of a river, two different languages. I mean, there's plenty of Spanish speakers here in El Paso, but I don't know, this is just interesting. Anticlimactic, but interesting.
Yeah.
To the El Paso airport to rent a car. Our Uber driver was extremely nice, very well traveled. He said he'd been to 20-something countries, every country in the whole Americas, every country in the Americas and every capital.
Start a YouTube channel.
He should. Anyways, he told us we took the wrong bridge. We walked across the wrong bridge. He said if you walk across the Bridge of the Americas, it is free. You don't have to. And he said usually there's a terrible line on the bridge we took.
We must have just lucked out.
And fun fact, he told us, we should have got this guy on camera. He said if you cross that bridge and you get on like Highway 54, he said that highway goes all the way through Mexico, through Guatemala to Panama, and at the Panama Canal, somewhere around there I believe, he said there's another bridge called the Bridge of the Americas.
Yeah.
So it really makes sense. It feels like there's two bridges.
I think it's Highway 54 here in El Paso, and then it changes to 45.
Yes.
Just like flip-flops and then all
the bridge is Bridge America.
Yeah.
Get it?
No.
You don't get it?
No.
Like they bridge America, they bridge the Americas. Okay. And they're literally bridges.
Okay. Bye-bye.
What's the first thing you do when you make it into the United States?
Find Mexican food.
Go to the most Mexican restaurant we could find. We are in Cuauhtemoc Cafe. That's pretty Mexican with Ista and Don Goyo and Cuauhtemoc and...
Yeah, the car rental guy said they had the best breakfast here, so...
A ver.
Yeah.
food was, my gosh.
That was really good. I haven't had cheese enchiladas.
Lane closure ahead in 1.7 miles.
Uh-oh.
Lane closure ahead.
Fastest route.
That was delicious. I feel like I was driving out and like, oh my god, oh man, oh my.
Still finding it in my teeth.
Oof, that was delicious.
That really was
I don't know if
really
anybody
good.
understands oof here in the States besides mis amigos
Us.
mexicanos, but oof.
That was good.
But it cost $18. 18
Ooh,
dolaritos.
that was bad.
How many pesitos is that?
Like 400.
I mean, it was delicious, but like, dang. And that was a pretty cheap place.
Yikes.
Oh, mama.
Hurts.
What's the opposite of oof? Ouch.
Ouch.
Okay, we are coming up on what I believe is a border patrol checkpoint, which is weird. We have these border patrol things within the country. I believe there's a law. I don't know exactly what
we
it
just got
is.
our picture taken.
I believe there's a law in which says basically they can set these up within 100 miles of the border, and that actually constitutes land or water borders as well. I don't think you like see them in New York, but it's a really interesting, strange thing that we've actually only experienced once driving out to El Paso or to New Mexico. So
miles. Continue straight.
I don't really know what they're gonna ask for, if anything.
We're gonna find out. Okay. Well, it took our picture.
Yeah. Go ahead, take it. Thank you.
Oh yeah, he's looking at us on a laptop. Wow.
Okay, that was actually, again, pretty uneventful. The last time, the only other time we've gone through a border patrol checkpoint within the country, which again, it still just seems weird to me. Maybe people that live in El Paso are like used to it or elsewhere, but it seems strange that we have, like that we're driving on a US interstate and that we have to go through a checkpoint. But anyways, I digress. Last time we went through one, they asked us like where we were going, where we came from, maybe why we were going, like the purpose of our travels. Just felt kind of
stressful.
To me,
it was just stressful. It was like I felt pressured not to answer wrong.
Yeah, again, it just felt weird being from our, like, growing up in Dallas and driving. Like, no one ever stops you. And again, I don't know my U.S. law all that much, but I do think there's a constitutional law, something about the basic, like, freedom to travel without basically being asked
Side note,
questions.
Greg loves watching those on YouTube.
But again, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, right, amigos? But this time all they did was take our picture, and he just checked our picture when we were going through, and he said, oh, it's a Kinetic Kennons. No, he didn't. But he let us on through.
Aquí estamos.
Driving for hours.
Well, we left our house this morning at 4:15, and we're gonna get to our destination at 4:15. So it is 12 hours of flight.
In 1 mile, turn right onto North Main Street.
North Main Street, 2 Ubers, across the border, car rental, a checkpoint. It's been a long day.
I had commented on the checkpoint thing, and then I realized, like, I think like the checkpoint is different for us, or weird for us having lived most of our life in North Texas. But actually, I thought checkpoints are pretty common in Mexico. So I don't know if you had thought about that as you're watching it. But I mean, we go through little checkpoints or toll booths or police checkpoints like all the time in Mexico.
Right.
So maybe I was saying that and you thought, come on, gringo, that's completely normal. I don't know. I am very interested in coming in El Paso. It really felt like we're in Mexico. I heard
turn right onto North Main Street.
I heard 90% Spanish, Most of the people I saw at least appeared to be of Hispanic origin. I really didn't. We've been in Texas for hours. I haven't really seen that many gringos at all. But we have some very fun videos coming up for you.
We do.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
Deep in the heart of Texas. Thank you so much to our patrons of the day, Gary Green, Jimmy Jams. I think I'll remember your names. They're solidified up here. Thank you to you two, along with all of our other patrons, for supporting our work in Mexico and, well, today, Texaco.
In the lost Mexican state of Tejas. We are in the beautiful pueblitito of Balmorhea.
Balmorhey.
Never been here.
Balmorhey.
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Click the bell to get notified
every time
we upload a new video, and we'll see you guys
pronto.
Adios. I think we've kind of touched on this within this video, but crossing the border, going from Mexico to the US, like literally walking versus flying how we normally do, it was just really eye-opening and interesting to see a city on one side of the border and then a city just on the other side of the border, and just the difference in the cities, and just, I guess in my head, just thinking about what people's lives are like on either side of the border, and
I've never seen the other side.
Yeah, we've never just crossed like that and been able to see the differences so easily, or just, I don't know, been able to try and think about, okay, these are presumably Mexicans or people that were speaking Spanish. In Walmart, we had to go to Walmart, and an academy, and pumping gas, and like I was just wondering, just like maybe you're curious of what's it like for two gringos living in Mexico. I just thought, like, what is their life like here in El Paso, or what is their life like here in Texas? Because they're Mexican, they're culturally Mexican. They probably speak Spanish to their family.
Right.
They probably mostly cook Mexican food at home, or just food as we call it in Mexico. But at the same time, they live in the United States, so their life isn't like our life in Mexico City, or like your life in Monterrey or Puerto Vallarta, or wherever in Jalisco or Guanajuato, or how many other states and cities can I think of? Querétaro, Oaxaca, Zacatecas, Durango, Mazatlan. I don't know, I'm just messing with you. I don't know, just very intrigued about Mexican American culture and the Mexican American lifestyle, because basically I don't know anything about it, and I think that's humbling and intriguing.